Hi all, welcome back to our Allied Ligdom channel. In this video, we are gonna see about the anatomy of scapular bone. First, we'll see what is scapular bone. The scapula is a thin bone placed on the posterior lateral aspect of the thoracic cage, which is also known as shoulder blade. It articulates with the humerus at the glenohumeral joint and with the clavicle at acromoclavicular joint. In doing so, the scapula connects the upper limb to the trunk, and it is a triangular flat bone which serve as a site for attachment for many muscles, and the scapula has two surfaces, three borders, three angles and three processes, which we'll see in detail in the forthcoming slides. So scapula are nothing but a shoulder blade which is triangular flat bone which serve as a site for attachment of many muscles and connects the upper limb to the trunk. In this image, we could see the right and left side of the scapula being attached with the humerus at the glenohumeral joint. Next is the side determination of scapular bone. The scapula has a triangular body with three main processes coming off the body. On posterior side is the spine of the scapula that ends in the acromion process which articulates with the lateral end of the scapula. On anterior side, facing into the body is a right angled process called coracoid process, while at superior lateral edge of the scapula, the glenoid cavity which serve as a socket for head of the humerus bone, and this glenoid cavity always lie posterior laterally, whereas the spine and acromion are posterior. So this will help us to determine whether a particular scapula comes from anatomical left or right side. Next, we'll see some of the features of scapular bone. First, at the surface, there are two surfaces, namely costal surface and dorsal surface. The costal surface is also known as subscapular fossa, which is concave and directed medially and forward, and marked by three longitudinal ridges. And the thick ridge adjoins the lateral bone, and this part of bone is almost rod-like and act as a lever for the action of serrator anterior muscle in overhead for the abduction of the arm. The next is the dorsal surface. The dorsal surface gives attachment to the spine of the scapula, which divides the surface into a smaller supraspinous fossa and larger infraspinous fossa. And the two fossa are connected by a spinoglenoid notch and situated lateral to the root of the spine. So there are two surfaces, namely the costal and the dorsal. In costal, it is concave and directed medially and forward, and the subscapularis muscle arises from the medial two-thirds of the subscapula. Whereas in dorsal surface, it is convex and present a shelf-like projection referred to as spinous process, and spinoglenoid notch is located between the lateral border of the spinous process and the dorsal surface of the neck of the scapula. Next, at the borders of the scapular bone, there are three borders, namely superior border, lateral border and medial border. Superior border is thin and shorter near the root of the coracoid process. It is present with the subscapular notch, whereas the lateral border is thick at upper end, it present in the infraglenoid tubercle. And the third border is the medial border, which is thin. It extends from the superior angle to the inferior angle. So the lateral border is thick, and whereas the superior and medial border is thin. The next is the angles of the scapular bone. There are three angles, namely superior, inferior, lateral or glenoid angle. The superior angle is covered by trapezius muscle, whereas the inferior angle is covered by latissimus dorsi, which moves forward round the chest when the arm is abducted. Lateral or glenoid angle is broad and bears the glenoid cavity or fossa, which is directed forward laterally and slightly upwards. The next are the processes. There are three processes, namely spine or spinous processes Acromion and coracoid process. The spinous process is a triangular plate of bone with three borders and two surfaces. It divides the dorsal surface of the scapula into supraspinous and infraspinous fossae. Its posterior border is called crest of the spine and the crest has upper and lower lips. Whereas the acromion process has two borders, medial and lateral, two surfaces, superior and inferior, and a facet for the clavicle. Next is the coracoid process. It's directed forward and slightly lateral. It is bent and finger-like and it is atavistic type of epiphysis. So there are three processes. The first process is spinous process with three borders and two surface, whereas acromion has two borders, that is medial and lateral, whereas the coracoid process is directed forward and slightly lateral in position. The next are the attachment of muscles. As we already saw, this is the site for origin and insertion of many muscles. Mostly of 17 muscles are being inserted or origin from this scapula bone. The muscles of insertion are pectoralis minor, rhomboid major, rhomboid minor, trapezius are the muscles which is being inserted into the scapula bone. An origin of some muscles like coracobrachialis, tricep brachii, biceps brachii, and deltoid, supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres minor, teres major, and latissimus dorsi and homoid muscles are the muscles which have been originated from the scapula bone. And what kind of movements are being brought by this muscle which is being originated are inserted into the scapula bone? And it performs six actions, namely elevation, depression, retraction, protraction, upward rotation, and downward rotation. The elevation is brought by upper trapezius and levator scapulae muscles, whereas the depression is brought by lower trapezius. Retraction is nothing but adduction of the adduction movement, that is brought by rhomboid and middle trapezius, whereas the protraction nothing but abduction is brought by serratus anterior. Upper rotation by upper and lower trapezius and serratus anterior, and downward rotation by rhomboid, levator scapulae, and pec minor muscles. The next, the clinical anatomy, which is being relevant to the scapula. There are two conditions, namely fracture of the scapula and winging of the scapula. Fracture of scapula is uncommon and it's not mostly seen. If they do occur, it is an indication of severe chest trauma. They are frequently seen in high-speed road accidents or crushing injury or sports injury. And it's not typically require fixation, that is, internal fixation or external fixation as a tone of surrounding muscle hold the piece of place for healing to occur. That means it has a natural occurring of recovery than within a minimum of immobilization is enough. The next is winging of the scapula. The serratus anterior muscle originates from the rib 1 to 8 and attaches the costal face of the scapula, pulling it against the rib cage. The long thoracic nerve innervates the serratus anterior. If this nerve becomes damaged, the scapula protrudes out of the back when pushing with the arm. The long thoracic nerve can become damaged by trauma to the shoulder and repetitive movement involving the shoulder by structures becoming inflamed and pressing on the nerve. So, we'll just brush up what are the topic and subtopics we have gone through in this video. First, scapula is nothing but a flat, thin, triangular bone placed on the posterior lateral aspect of the thoracic cage. And in side determination, we saw the glenoid cavity lies in posterior lateral aspect, whereas the spine and acromion are in posterior surface. Next are the features, namely surfaces, borders, angles, and process. There are two surfaces, namely costal surface and dorsal surface, whereas in borders, superior border, lateral border, and medial border. In angles, superior, inferior, lateral angles. In process, spinous process, acromion process, and coracoid process. In attachment, there are more than 17 muscle which has origin and insertion in the scapular bone, and the clinical anatomies like fractures and winging of the scapulas are being noted. I hope you all enjoyed this video and got some knowledge about the scapular bone. Thank you.